Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract everything they desire, while others struggle despite endless effort? The answer lies not in what you're doing, but in where you're placing your attention. Today I'm going to share with you the profound science of manifestation that has been proven in our laboratories. Our research has uncovered something remarkable about human consciousness. When you focus your attention on something specific, you activate neural networks that literally reshape your brain's architecture. But here's what's fascinating. This reshaping isn't limited to your physical brain. Think about the last time you intensely desired something. Our studies show that in that moment, you were generating electromagnetic fields that extended far beyond your physical body. These fields interact with the quantum fabric of reality itself. The laboratory data reveals something extraordinary. When you maintain focused attention on a specific outcome for just 3 minutes, you trigger what we call manifestation sequences in your nervous system. These sequences create measurable changes in your brain chemistry. Our consciousness research demonstrates that what we focus on literally alters our DNA expression. When you direct your attention toward what you want rather than what you don't want, you activate dormant genetic potentials associated with enhanced creation abilities. No. Now, going back to our study, this old awesome thought. Consider this profound discovery from our studies. Your cells are constantly listening to your internal dialogue. Every thought you think creates biochemical changes that either support or inhibit your natural ability to attract what you desire. The brain imaging research shows something fascinating. When you maintain focused attention on your desired reality, you activate what we call quantum coherent networks. These networks synchronize your brain waves with the frequency of what you want to attract. Now, our studies on consciousness reveal that when you persist in holding your attention on a specific outcome, you generate what we call probability fields that actually influence future events. This isn't measurable quantum mechanics. I think about this remarkable finding from our laboratory research. When you focus intensely on what you want to create, you enter what we call manifestation states. In these states, your brain produces specific frequencies that harmonize with similar frequencies in your environment. The data from our cellular studies shows that when you maintain consistent focus on your desired reality, you literally reprogram your body's electromagnetic field. This field extends several feet beyond your physical form and influences the quantum field around you. Our research on neural plasticity demonstrates something extraordinary. When you direct your attention toward what you want to experience, you create new neural pathways that support the manifestation of those experiences. Consider this fascinating discovery. When you focus on specific outcomes with emotional intensity, you generate what we call resonance patterns that attract similar frequencies into your experience. This is pure physics, not philosophy. The speech continues exploring various aspects of focused attention and manifestation. Through scientific understanding and practical application, the neuroscience of attention reveals something profound. When you focus intensely on your desired reality, you activate what we call creation circuits in your brain. These circuits generate electromagnetic frequencies that extend into the quantum field. Our laboratory studies demonstrate that every thought you maintain creates ripples in the fabric of space-time. When you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, these ripples become waves of probability that influence future events. Think about this remarkable discovery. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between what you're experiencing and what you're imagining with emotional intensity. This means you're constantly broadcasting frequencies that attract corresponding experiences. The research on consciousness shows that when you maintain unwavering focus on what you desire, you enter what we call manifestation zones, states where the gap between thought and reality collapses. Our brain imaging studies reveal something extraordinary. When you direct your attention towards specific outcomes, you activate dormant areas of your brain associated with enhanced creation abilities. Consider this fascinating finding. Your cells are continuously responding to the frequency of your focused attention. When you maintain concentration on what you want to experience, you literally alter your biological expression. The data from our quantum research demonstrates that focused attention generates what we call probability fields. These fields interact with the quantum fabric of reality, increasing the likelihood of specific outcomes materializing. Our studies on neural coherence show that when you persist in holding your attention on desired experiences, you create measurable changes in your brain's electromagnetic field that extend far beyond your physical form. Think about this profound discovery. When you focus intensely on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call synchronicity sequences in your nervous system. These sequences align your internal frequency with what you want to attract. The research on cellular intelligence reveals that your body's trillions of cells respond instantly to where you place your attention. This response creates biochemical changes that either support or inhibit your natural manifestation abilities. He's building something, power manifestation. Consider this remarkable finding from our laboratory studies. When you maintain focused attention on what you want to create, you generate what we call quantum resonance patterns that attract similar frequencies into your experience. Our consciousness research shows that every thought you think creates ripples in the quantum field. When you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, these ripples become waves of probability that influence future events. Think about this extraordinary discovery. Your nervous system broadcasts specific frequencies based on where you place your attention. These frequencies interact with the quantum field, attracting experiences that match their vibration. The data from our brain study reveals that when you maintain unwavering focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call manifestation networks, neural pathways that support the materialization of specific outcomes. Now, research on cellular memory demonstrates that every cell in your body responds to the frequency of your focused attention. This response creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field that influence probability itself. Consider this fascinating finding. When you direct your attention toward what you want to experience, you generate what we call coherence fields that extend several feet beyond your physical form. The studies on consciousness show that your focused attention creates specific brainwave patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, increasing the likelihood of desired experiences manifesting in your reality. Think about this profound discovery from our laboratory research. When you maintain consistent focus on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call probability cascades that influence future events in measurable ways. Our latest research reveals something extraordinary. When you maintain unwavering focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call quantum attraction networks in your brain. These networks generate specific frequencies that shape future probabilities. Think about this remarkable discovery. Every moment of focused attention creates ripples in the quantum field. When these ripples align with your desired outcome, they become powerful waves of manifestation energy. The laboratory studies show that when you persist in directing your attention toward specific experiences, you enter what we call creation states, periods where the boundary between thought and reality becomes increasingly permeable. Our consciousness research demonstrates that focused attention generates electromagnetic fields that extend up to 30 feet beyond your physical form. These fields interact with the quantum fabric of reality in measurable ways. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain consistent focus on what you want to experience, you trigger what we call synchronicity sequences in your nervous system. These sequences align your internal frequency with external possibilities. The brain imaging data reveals something profound. Focused attention activates dormant areas of your brain associated with enhanced manifestation abilities. These areas generate specific frequencies that attract corresponding experiences. Our studies on cellular intelligence show that every cell in your body responds instantly to where you place your attention. This response creates biochemical changes that influence your ability to attract desired outcomes. Think about this extraordinary discovery. When you direct your attention towards specific experiences, you generate what we call probability fields that interact with the quantum fabric of reality itself. The research on neural coherence demonstrates that focused attention creates measurable changes in your brain's electromagnetic field. These changes influence the likelihood of specific outcomes materializing in your experience. Consider this remarkable finding from our laboratory studies. When you maintain unwavering focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call manifestation circuits that support the materialization of specific outcomes. Our consciousness research reveals that every thought you maintain creates specific frequency patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, attracting experiences that match their vibration. Think about this profound discovery. Your nervous system broadcasts electromagnetic frequencies based on where you place your attention. These frequencies extend into the quantum field, influencing future probabilities. The data from our brain studies shows that when you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call quantum resonance patterns that attract similar frequencies into your experience. Our research on cellular memory demonstrates that focused attention creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field. These changes influence the probability of desired experiences manifesting in your reality. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain consistent focus on what you want to experience, you generate what we call coherence fields that extend several feet beyond your physical form. The studies on consciousness show that your focused attention creates specific brainwave patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, increasing the likelihood of desired experiences materializing. Think about this extraordinary discovery from our laboratory research. When you direct your attention towards specific outcomes, you trigger what we call manifestation sequences that influence future events in measurable ways. Our research on neuroplasticity reveals that focused attention creates new neural pathways that support the materialization of desired experiences. These pathways become stronger with consistent use. The quantum mechanics of focused attention reveals something remarkable. When you maintain concentrated awareness on your desired reality, you activate what we call creation frequencies in your nervous system. These frequencies ripple through the fabric of space-time itself. Our laboratory findings demonstrate that when you persist in holding your attention on specific outcomes, you generate what we call manifestation fields that extend into the quantum realm. These fields influence probability at the subatomic level. Think about this profound discovery. Every sustained thought creates specific electromagnetic patterns. When these patterns align with your desired experience, they become powerful attractors in the quantum field. The research on consciousness shows that focused attention triggers what we call synchronicity cascades, sequences of events that appear random but are actually responding to your internal frequency. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain unwavering focus on what you want to experience, you enter what we call quantum coherence states, where thought and reality begin to merge. Our brain imaging studies reveal that focused attention activates dormant neural networks associated with enhanced manifestation abilities. These networks generate specific frequencies that shape future possibilities. The data from our cellular research demonstrates that every cell in your body responds to the frequency of your focused attention, creating biochemical changes that influence your attraction field. Think about this extraordinary discovery. When you direct your attention towards specific outcomes, you generate what we call probability waves that interact with the quantum fabric of reality. Our studies on neuroplasticity show that focused attention creates new pathways in your brain that support the materialization of desired experiences. These pathways strengthen with consistent use. Consider this remarkable finding. When you maintain concentrated awareness and on your desired reality, you activate what we call resonance fields that attract corresponding experiences into your life. The research on consciousness reveals that every thought you hold creates specific frequency patterns. These patterns extend into the quantum field, influencing future probabilities. How do we learn and shift our frequency? Think about this profound discovery. Your nervous system broadcasts electromagnetic frequencies based on where you place your attention. These frequencies interact with the quantum field in measurable ways. Our laboratory studies show that when you persist in focusing on specific outcomes, you trigger what we call manifestation sequences that influence the likelihood of desired experiences materializing. The data from our brain research demonstrates that focused attention creates measurable changes in your electromagnetic field. These changes extend several feet beyond your physical form. Consider this fascinating finding. When you maintain consistent focus on what you want to experience, you generate what we call quantum attraction patterns that draw similar frequencies into your reality. Our studies on cellular intelligence reveal that focused attention creates biochemical changes that either support or inhibit your natural manifestation abilities. Think about this extraordinary discovery. When you direct your attention toward specific outcomes, you activate what we call creation networks that influence future events in measurable ways. The research on neural coherence shows that focused attention generates specific brainwave patterns. These patterns interact with the quantum field, increasing the probability of desired experiences manifesting. Our latest quantum research reveals something transformative. When you maintain pure focus on your desired reality, you activate what we call manifestation potential that exists in every particle of your being. These particles respond instantly to your attention. Consider this final revelation. The electromagnetic field of your focused attention extends into dimensions beyond time and space. In these dimensions, everything exists in a state of pure possibility, waiting for your attention to give it form. The laboratory studies confirm that in the last moments before manifestation, you enter what we call quantum resonance, a state where your internal frequency perfectly matches the frequency of your desire. This is the moment of transformation. Think about this culminating discovery. Your focused attention creates a bridge between potential and reality. When you maintain this bridge through unwavering concentration, possibilities collapse into experience. Our consciousness research shows that in the final phase of manifestation, you generate what we call coherence waves that ripple through the quantum field, bringing your desired reality into physical form. Remember this fundamental truth. You are not separate from what you observe. Your attention is the force that shapes the quantum field into tangible experience. This is not theory. This is proven quantum mechanics. The data from our final studies reveals that when you maintain absolute clarity of focus, you enter what we call creation consciousness, a state where thought and reality become one unified field. Consider this closing insight. Every moment contains infinite potential, waiting for your focused attention to give it direction. Your attention is the key that unlocks these infinite possibilities. In these concluding moments, understand that you are not just observing reality. You are creating it through your focused attention. Every thought you maintain shapes the quantum field into corresponding experience. And so I leave you with this final truth. Your attention is your most powerful tool for creating reality. Use it wisely, direct it consciously, and watch as the universe rearranges itself to match the picture in your mind. Remember, what you focus on expands, what you think about manifests, and what you give your attention to grows. This is not philosophy. This is the science of consciousness itself. Your journey of conscious creation begins now. Every moment is a new opportunity to direct your attention toward what you want to experience. The quantum field awaits your instructions. Trust in the process, maintain your focus, and watch as your reality transforms to match your internal vision. This is your natural power. Use it consciously, use it wisely, and use it now. When I tell you to act as if you are the best, I'm not speaking of arrogance or comparison with others. I'm speaking of recognizing and embodying your divine nature. For you are God's own image and likeness made manifest in flesh. Many of you come to these lectures believing that others are better than you, more talented than you, more deserving than you. But I tell you this, such beliefs are nothing but assumed limitations. And like all assumptions, they can be changed in a single moment of understanding. Consider this: when scripture says, I am that I am, it's revealing the fundamental truth of your being. You are not becoming the best, you are the best. Your only task is to recognize and assume this truth until it becomes your living reality. Let me share with you what I mean by acting as if you are the best. It's not about competing with others or proving your superiority. It's about assuming the state of being the person you desire to be, knowing that no one can prevent you from expressing your highest conception of yourself. When you truly grasp that consciousness is the only reality, you understand that your concept of self determines everything you experience. If you assume others are better than you, the universe must conform to provide experiences that confirm this assumption. If you assume you are the best, the universe must, and I emphasize must, reorganize itself to reflect this assumption back to you. Here's a profound truth that few understand. Your present concept of self, the one that makes you feel less than others, is just as much a step as the one I'm asking you to adopt. You weren't born believing others were better than you. You learned to assume this through experience and accepted it as truth. Changing this assumption requires a complete revision of your self-concept. You must begin to live from the assumption that you are the best, not through comparison with others, but through the recognition of your divine nature. For when I say you are the best, I'm speaking of your true identity as pure consciousness. Let me share with you what happens in consciousness when you truly assume you are the best. First, all sense of competition falls away. When you know you are the best, you don't need to prove it to anyone. You don't need to diminish others to elevate yourself. You simply are, and that knowing is enough. Many of you make the mistake of trying to become the best through effort and struggle. But I tell you this, you cannot become what you already are. Your task is not to become the best, but to recognize and assume that you already are the best. This is what Scripture means when it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Consider this. Everything you're experiencing now, every limitation, every feeling of being less than others, is simply the harvested fruit of your past assumptions. The universe has been faithfully reflecting back to you what you have assumed about yourself. If you've assumed others are better, the universe has provided evidence to support this assumption. But here is the liberating truth. You can change this pattern in a single moment by assuming a new concept of self. When you assume you are the best, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect this new assumption. This is law, and the law never fails. Let me tell you something about assuming you are the best. It has nothing to do with ego or pride. It's about recognizing your divine nature and allowing it to express through you. When you truly assume this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their divine nature as well. This is why the command is to love your neighbor as yourself. When you truly recognize your own divine nature, you automatically get others. In others, you don't need to compete with them because you understand that their success doesn't diminish your own greatness. Expressing your divine nature means living from the assumption that you are the best version of yourself right now, in this moment. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now. For in consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming, there is only being. Let me share with you a principle that many find difficult to accept. Your current circumstances have no power to prevent you from assuming you are the best. Your bank account, your education, your background, your past failures, none of these can stop you from assuming a new concept of self. They are merely shadows of past assumptions. Many of you say, "But Neville, how can I assume I'm the best when others are more qualified, more successful, more experienced?" I tell you this, these comparisons exist only in your imagination. And if they exist in your imagination, they can be revised in your imagination. For imagination creates reality. Consider this. Every great individual who ever lived first assumed their greatness before it became visible to others. They didn't wait for circumstances to make them great. They assumed their greatness, and circumstances had to conform to their assumption. This is the law. When you truly assume you are the best, something remarkable happens in consciousness. All sense of strain, all need to prove yourself, all fear of competition falls away. You begin to move through life with a confidence that needs no external validation. Let me tell you something about this state of being the best. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than your previous concept of yourself. When you assume this state, you naturally inspire others to rise to their best as well. For when one rises, all rise. Here's a profound truth about assuming you are the best. The universe cannot give you less than what you assume for yourself. If you assume mediocrity, the universe must provide experiences of mediocrity. If you assume excellence, the universe must provide experiences of excellence. Assuming excellence means occupying the state of being excellent in your imagination until it becomes your dominant feeling. Not just during meditation or visualization, but in every moment of your daily life. Your every thought, your every action, your every reaction must spring from this new assumption. Let me share with you what happens when you truly assume you are the best. Your walk changes, your talk changes, your posture changes, not through conscious effort, but as a natural expression of your new self-concept. The universe must then reshape itself to match this new expression. Many of you make the mistake of trying to act confident while maintaining an inner feeling of inadequacy. But I tell you this, the universe responds not to your outer actions, but to your inner feeling tone. You must feel your excellence in the very depths of your being. Consider this right now, in this very moment, there are infinite states of consciousness available to you. The state of being the best already exists, complete and perfect. Your task is not to create this state, but to occupy it through your assumption. When you assume you are the best, you stop seeking approval from others. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop making excuses for why you can't succeed. These behaviors cannot exist in the consciousness of one who truly knows their own excellence. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this state. You will be tested. The world of Caesar will present you with evidence that seems to contradict your assumption. Old circumstances, old relationships, old patterns will persist for a time. This is law. But here's the secret. These circumstances have no power except the power you give them through your reaction. If you maintain your assumption of being the best despite contrary evidence, that very evidence must change to match your assumption. Handling contrary evidence is where most people falter in their assumption of being the best. When circumstances seem to deny your assumption, when others doubt you, when results don't immediately appear, this is when you must stand most firmly in your conviction. Let me share with you a principle that has proven itself countless times. The outer world will continue to reflect your old concept of self for a time. This is not a denial of your new assumption. It is an opportunity to strengthen it. Every circumstance that seems to deny your excellence is actually an opportunity to prove your assumption. Many of you abandon your assumption of being the best at the first sign of failure or criticism. But I tell you this, those very failures, those very criticisms, when met with unwavering assumption of your excellence, become the building blocks of your success. For what you persist in assuming must become your reality. Consider this. When you truly know you are the best, failure becomes impossible. You may face temporary setbacks, but in your consciousness, these are merely stepping stones to your inevitable success. This is how the great ones think. And this is how you must think if you would assume your greatness. The universe responds not to what others think of you, not to your past performance, not to your current circumstances, but to your persistent assumption. If you maintain the feeling of being the best despite all evidence to the contrary, the universe must, and I emphasize must, reorganize itself to match your assumption. Let me tell you something about persistence in your assumption. It's not about duration in time, but about the intensity of conviction. One moment of complete acceptance of your excellence is worth more than years of half-hearted affirmations. The universe responds not to time, but to the intensity of your assumption. Here's a profound truth about maintaining your assumption. You don't maintain it by fighting against current conditions. You maintain it by remaining so centered in your excellence that current conditions become irrelevant. Just as light doesn't fight darkness, it simply shines. You don't fight against limitations. You simply radiate excellence. Radiating excellence comes from a deep inner conviction that transcends all external circumstances. When you truly assume you are the best, this assumption radiates from you naturally, without effort, without strain, without trying to convince others. It becomes as natural as breathing. Let me share with you what I mean by radiating excellence. When you wake in the morning, before you even open your eyes, feel the naturalness of being the best. Not with excitement or enthusiasm, but with the quiet certainty of knowing who you really are. This feeling should be as natural as knowing your own name. Many of you try to radiate excellence through outer actions, through your clothes, your possessions, your achievements. But I tell you this, true excellence radiates from within. It's not something you do, it's something you are. The outer manifestations will follow naturally when your inner assumption is secure. Consider this, everything in your world right now is a reflection of your past radiation. If you've been radiating doubt, uncertainty, or feelings of inadequacy, the universe has faithfully reflected these back to you. The universe can only reflect what you radiate from within. When you truly radiate excellence, something remarkable happens. Others begin to recognize and respond to it. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because they can't help but respond to the conviction you carry within. This is why Scripture says, let your light so shine before men. Let me tell you something vital about radiating excellence. It must be consistent. You cannot radiate excellence for an hour and then return to radiating doubt and limitation. The universe responds to your predominant radiation, not to your occasional moments of feeling confident. Here's a profound truth about radiation. It affects everything in your world. When you truly radiate excellence, every person you meet, every circumstance you encounter must adjust itself to match your radiation. This is law, and the law never fails. Your radiation affects your world in ways that your logical mind could never conceive. When you consistently radiate the feeling of being the best, the entire universe must, and I emphasize must, rearrange itself to reflect this radiation back to you in the form of corresponding circumstances, events, and relationships. Let me share with you what happens when you maintain this radiation of excellent radiation. People who previously doubted you begin to see you differently. Opportunities that seemed close to you suddenly appear. Circumstances that appeared limiting begin to transform. not because you're manipulating the outer world, but because your radiation is creating a new world. Many of you ask how long it will take for your world to reflect your new radiation. But I tell you this, time is not a factor in consciousness. The moment you achieve a complete conviction of being the best, the entire universe begins its reorganization. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the intensity of your conviction. Consider this right now in this very moment. There are infinite versions of you existing simultaneously. There's a version where you're struggling, a version where you're succeeding, a version where you're the absolute best in your field. Your radiation determines which version you experience. When you truly understand this, you stop trying to compete with others. You realize that your only competition is with your previous concept of self. The only person you need to be better than is who you were yesterday. And this improvement comes not through strain or effort, but through assuming a higher concept of self. Let me tell you something about this radiation of excellence. It must become your natural state. Just as you don't think about breathing, you shouldn't have to think about being the best. It should be your default state, your natural way of being in the world. Here's a profound truth about maintaining this radiation. You don't maintain it by affirming it or by trying to convince others. You maintain it by living from it, by making it so much a part of your consciousness that you can't conceive of being any other way. Living from the state of being the best means making it your constant dwelling place in consciousness. Just as you naturally live in your physical home without constantly reminding yourself that it's your home, you must naturally live in the consciousness of being the best without constant mental effort. Let me share with you what happens when you truly live from this state. Your decisions change, your choices change, your responses to challenges change, not because you're trying to act differently, but because these new behaviors are the natural expression of your new state of consciousness. Many of you try to live from this state for a few hours or days, then slip back into your old patterns of thinking. But I tell you this, you must make a complete and permanent move into this new state. You must burn the bridges to your old concept of self. There can be no going back, no visiting your old limitations. Consider this, every great achievement in human history came from someone who dared to live from the state of being the best. They didn't wait until circumstances confirmed their greatness. They assumed their greatness first. And circumstances had no choice but to conform to their assumption. When you truly live from the state of being the best, criticism cannot touch you, not because you've become immune to it, but because you're living in a state where criticism is irrelevant. Just as a king doesn't defend his right to the throne, you don't defend your excellence, you simply live from it. Let me tell you something vital about living from this state. It requires no effort once you're truly established in it. Just as it requires no effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be, it requires no effort to be the best once you fully assume that state. Here's a profound truth about living from the state of being the best. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully occupy the state, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, contributed to your excellence. Many of you believe that being the best means constantly striving, constantly pushing, constantly competing. But I tell you this, true excellence comes from a state of being, not from doing. When you occupy the state of being the best, your actions flow naturally from that state without strain or effort. Consider this right now. You're living from some concept of self. This concept might be that you're average, that others are better, that you need to struggle to succeed. And the universe has faithfully reflected this concept back to you. But I tell you this, you can shift to a new concept of self in a single moment of understanding. When you truly grasp that being the best is your natural state, your divine inheritance, something remarkable happens. All the energy you've been using to compete, to prove yourself, to overcome limitations becomes available for creative expression. You stop trying to become and simply allow yourself to be. Let me tell you something about this state of being the best. It's not about superiority over others. It's about expressing your highest potential, about being the best version of yourself. When you truly occupy this state, you naturally want others to recognize and express their excellence as well. Here's a profound truth about living as the best. It's the most natural thing in the world once you understand your true identity. You are God's own imagination made manifest. How could you be anything less than the best? Any limitation you experience is simply a limitation you've accepted in imagination. Accepting your true identity as the best version of yourself requires a complete revision of everything you've believed about who you are. You must understand that your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. Let me share with you what happens when you fully accept your true identity. First, all sense of unworthiness falls away. You stop questioning whether you deserve success, whether you're good enough, whether you can achieve your goals. You know with absolute certainty that excellence is your natural state. Many of you have lived so long with a limited concept of self that being the best seems like an impossible dream. But I tell you this, that very feeling of impossibility is itself an assumption. And like all assumptions, it can be changed in a single moment through the power of your wonderful human imagination. Consider this. Every limitation you now accept, every feeling of being less than the best, is nothing more than a habit of consciousness. And habits, no matter how long established, can be changed through persistent assumption of a new state. This is law, and the law never fails. When you truly accept your identity as the best, your entire world must reshape itself to match this new self-concept. People who once intimidated you will find themselves responding to your new radiation. Circumstances that seem beyond your reach will naturally align themselves with your new assumption. Let me tell you something vital about maintaining this new identity. You don't maintain it through willpower or positive thinking. You maintain it through understanding. Once you truly understand that being the best is your natural state, you can no more doubt it than you can doubt your own existence. Here's a profound truth about your true identity. It's not something you need to create or achieve. It already exists, complete and perfect, waiting for you to step into it through assumption. Your only task is to accept it, to occupy it, to live from it. Many of you fluctuate between being excellent and feeling inadequate, depending on external circumstances. But I tell you this, such fluctuation is impossible when you truly occupy the state of being the best. Just as a king doesn't stop being a king during challenges, you don't stop being excellent when facing obstacles. Consider this, every experience you encounter is simply an opportunity to express your excellence. Even apparent failures become opportunities to demonstrate your unshakable conviction in your own greatness. For when you live from the state of being the best, failure becomes impossible. When you truly live from this identity, something remarkable happens to your relationship with time. You stop waiting to become excellent in the future and start expressing excellence now. For in consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no waiting, no becoming, there is only being. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this state. The world will test your conviction. It must, for this is law. Old circumstances, old relationships, old patterns of failure will persist for a time. But these are not obstacles to your assumption. They are opportunities to strengthen it. Here's a profound truth about living from your true identity. It requires no effort once you're established in it. Just as you don't need effort to be who you currently believe yourself to be. You need no effort to be the best once you've fully accepted this as your true identity. Uncovering your natural excellence is like removing layers of dust from a perfect mirror. The brilliance was always there. It was merely covered by accumulated beliefs in limitation, doubt, and unworthiness. As you remove these false beliefs, your natural excellence shines forth with ever-increasing clarity. Let me share with you what happens when these layers of limitation begin to fall away. First, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop needing external confirmation of your excellence. You know who you are with such certainty that no external opinion can shake your conviction. Many of you have accumulated so many layers of limiting beliefs that your natural excellence seems like a distant dream. But I tell you this, these limitations are no more permanent than dust on a mirror. They can be wiped away in an instant through the power of your assumption. Consider this, every limiting belief you now hold, every doubt about your excellence, every fear of inadequacy was learned. And what can be learned can be unlearned. Your task is not to create excellence, but to remove the barriers to its expression. When you truly begin this process of uncovering your excellence, something remarkable happens to your entire worldview. You start to see that every circumstance, every relationship, every experience has been serving to reveal your true nature. Even your apparent failures have been leading you to this recognition. Let me tell you something crucial about this uncovering process. It happens not through effort, but through understanding. The moment you truly understand that excellence is your natural state, the layers of limitation begin to fall away of the Achilles. Here's a profound truth about uncovering your excellence. The process is instantaneous in consciousness, but may appear gradual in manifestation. The moment you fully accept your true identity, the entire universe begins its reorganization to reflect this truth. The time it takes for this to become visible depends solely on the completeness of your acceptance. The process of accepting your natural excellence requires a complete revision of your self-concept. You must be willing to release every belief, every idea, every concept that contradicts your true identity as the best. This is not something you do gradually. It must be absolute and complete. Let me share with you what happens when this acceptance becomes total. First, all internal conflict ceases. The battle between who you think you should be and who you think you are ends completely. There is only the quiet certainty of knowing your true identity as the best. Many of you try to accept your excellence while still holding on to doubts and limitations. But I tell you this, such partial acceptance is no acceptance at all. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot live from the state of being the best while maintaining a backup identity of limitation. Consider this. Your current concept of self, with all its limitations and doubts, is just as much an assumed state as the one I'm asking you to adopt. The only difference is that you've practiced your current concept longer. But time is no factor in consciousness. A new state, fully accepted, becomes just as natural as any long-held belief. When you truly accept your excellence without reservation, something remarkable happens to your entire experience of life. What once seemed like obstacles become opportunities. What once seemed like competition becomes irrelevant. What once seemed like limitations become launching pads for greater expression. Let me tell you something vital about this acceptance. It must be unconditional. You can accept your excellence only when circumstances support it. You must maintain this acceptance regardless of external conditions, knowing that conditions must conform to your consciousness, not the other way around. Here's a profound truth about complete acceptance. It transforms not just your future, but your past as well. When you fully accept your excellence, you begin to see how every past experience, even the seemingly negative ones, was perfectly designed to lead you to this recognition.
Look around you. What do you see? The world as it appears, or the world as it truly is? We often mistake the shadows on the wall for reality, failing to recognize that we are the projector casting those very shadows. This illusion, this veil of perception, is what keeps us tethered to a life less than our greatest potential. But what if I told you that the life you've always dreamed of, the one that seemed just out of reach, is already yours? That the gap between where you are and where you want to be is nothing more than a mirage created by your own mind. Close your eyes for a moment. Envision yourself living your ideal life. Feel the emotions, the satisfaction, the joy. Now open your eyes. Why does that vision feel so distant, so unattainable? The answer lies in the contrast between what we perceive as our current reality and what we believe to be possible. This contrast, this gap, is the first illusion we must shatter. For in truth, there is no gap. There's no separation between you and your desire. The only thing standing in your way is your belief in that very separation. Have you ever achieved something you once thought impossible? Remember that moment when the impossible became possible, when the unattainable became attainable. What changed? Was it the world around you, or was it your perception of what you could accomplish? The world of appearances is a fickle mistress. It constantly shifts and changes, reflecting back to us our deepest beliefs and assumptions. But beneath this ever-changing surface lies an immutable truth. You are the creator of your reality. Your consciousness, your awareness, is the foundation upon which your entire world is built. Think of your mind as a garden. The thoughts you nurture, the beliefs you water, these are the seeds that grow into the reality you experience. If you plant seeds of doubt, limitation, and fear. Is it any wonder that your life reflects these very qualities? But if you choose to plant seeds of possibility, abundance and love, your world will blossom accordingly. This is the crux of our discussion today. The power of acting as if you are really living your best life. It's not about pretending or putting on a facade. It's about recognizing the fundamental truth that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. But how do we bridge this gap between our current perception and the reality we wish to experience? The answer lies in understanding the nature of consciousness itself. Your awareness, your I am, is the only true reality. Everything else, your body, your circumstances, your relationships, these are all expressions of that consciousness. When you say, I am poor, I am unlucky, I am not good enough, you are defining the parameters of your existence. You are instructing the universe on how to arrange itself around you. But when you declare, I am wealthy, I am fortunate, I am worthy, you are reshaping your world from the inside out. This is not magical thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is the fundamental law of consciousness at work. Your assumptions, your deeply held beliefs about yourself and the world are the lens through which you experience reality. Change the lens, and you change your entire world. But here's where many stumble. They try to change their thoughts without changing their underlying assumptions. They repeat affirmations without truly believing them. They visualize success while still feeling unworthy deep inside. This creates an internal conflict, a war between what they want to believe and what they actually believe. The key is to go deeper, to examine the core assumptions that shape your reality. What do you truly believe about yourself, about the nature of the world, about what's possible for you? These beliefs, often formed in childhood or through past experiences, are the invisible architects of your life. Challenging these beliefs can be uncomfortable. It requires us to question everything we've taken for granted. But in this discomfort lies the seed of transformation. As you begin to question your limiting beliefs, you create space for new possibilities to emerge. Very great achievement in human history began as an idea that challenged existing beliefs. Flight was impossible until it wasn't. Instant global communication was a fantasy until it became our daily reality. The 4-minute mile was an unbreakable barrier until Roger Bannister broke it. And then, within weeks, others followed suit. What changed? Not the physical capabilities of humans. What changed was the belief in what was possible. Once the mental barrier was broken, the physical manifestation followed. This same principle applies to your life. The barriers you perceive are not external. They are not in the world around you. They exist in your mind and your assumptions about what's possible for you. But how do we break free from these mental chains? How do we liberate ourselves from the prison of our own making? The answer lies in the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming. It is the most powerful creative force in the universe. It is through your imagination that you can transcend your current circumstances and step into the reality of your future. When you imagine yourself living your best life, you are not escaping reality. You are creating it. You are tuning your consciousness to a new frequency, aligning yourself with a new set of possibilities. This is where the true power acting as if comes into play. When you act as if you are already living your best life, you are not pretending. You are aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to experience. You are becoming, in consciousness, the person who already has what you desire. This shift in consciousness is subtle but profound. It's not about changing your external actions, although that may naturally follow. It's about changing your inner state. It's about feeling the feelings of already being, doing, or having what you desire. If you desire wealth, feel the security, freedom, and abundance that wealth brings. If you desire love, feel the joy, connection, and fulfillment of being in a loving relationship. If you desire success, feel the satisfaction, confidence, and pride of achieving your goals. As you embark on this journey of transformation, remember that the world around you will initially lag behind your new self-concept. This is where many give up, mistaking the old, dying reality for the permanent state of things. But persistence is key. The outer world must conform to your inner assumptions, but it doesn't always do so immediately. Think of it like turning a large ship. When you turn the wheel, the ship doesn't immediately change course. There's a delay as the new direction takes effect. Your life is much the same. When you change your inner state, your outer world will follow. But it may take time for the full effects to manifest. During this period of transition, it's crucial to maintain your new state of consciousness. Don't be swayed by appearances. Don't let the old reality pull you back into old patterns of thinking and feeling. Stand firm in your new assumption, knowing that what you are experiencing internally must, by law, be reflected externally. This is where faith comes into play. Not blind faith in some external power, but faith in the law of your own being. Faith that what you are conscious of being, you must become. This faith is not hoping or wishing. It is knowing. It is the calm assurance that what you have assumed in your imagination is already a reality on a higher plane and must inevitably express itself in your visible world. As you practice living from this new state of consciousness, you begin to notice subtle shifts in your external world. Opportunities that align with your desires will start to appear. People who can assist you in your goals will enter your life. Circumstances will arrange themselves in your favor. These initial manifestations are crucial. They are signs that the law is working, that your new assumption is taking root. Acknowledge them, be grateful for them, but don't cling to them. Keep your focus on the end, on the complete fulfillment of your desire. Remember, the world of appearances is always flux, always changing. But your consciousness, your awareness, is the stable point around which everything revolves. As you maintain your new state of consciousness, as you persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, you will witness a gradual but inevitable shift in your external reality. This process of transformation is not always easy. It requires vigilance, persistence, and a willingness to challenge your ingrained beliefs. But the rewards are beyond measure. For as you master this art of conscious creation, you step into your true power as the author of your own life story. The next part of our discussion will delve deeper into the practical application of these principles. We'll explore specific techniques for embodying your desired state and living from the end. But for now, I want you to sit with this fundamental truth. The life you dream of is not some distant possibility. It is a present reality waiting for you to step into it. Your task is not to make it happen, but to align yourself with it, to become in consciousness the person who already has it. As we move forward, keep this question in mind. If you were already living your best life, how would you think, feel, and act in this moment? Let this be your guiding light as we continue our exploration of the art of conscious creation. As we continue our exploration of consciousness and reality, we arrive at a profound truth that has the power to revolutionize your life. This truth is known as the law of assumption, and it forms the bedrock of our ability to shape our reality and become our ideal selves. What if I told you that your entire life, every experience, every relationship, every circumstance is a direct result of your assumptions, that the world you see around you is nothing more than an outward picture of your inward assumption? This is the essence of the law of assumption. To truly grasp this concept, we must first understand the nature of consciousness. Your consciousness, your awareness is the only reality. Everything else, the world you perceive, the body you inhabit, the experiences you have, are all projections of your consciousness. They are like images on a screen, with your consciousness being the projector. Now, within this consciousness, you hold certain assumptions. These are not just surface-level thoughts, but deep-seated beliefs about yourself and the world. These assumptions act like filters, coloring every aspect of your experience. They determine what you perceive, how you interpret events, and ultimately, what manifests in your life. The power of this understanding is immense. If your assumptions create your reality, then by changing your assumptions, you can change your entire life. This is not a matter of positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It's a fundamental law of consciousness, as really and immutably as any law of physics. But how do we apply this law? How do we harness its power to become our ideal selves? The answer lies in a practice known as living from the end. Living from the end means assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It means stepping into the consciousness of already being the person you want to be having what you want to have, doing what you want to do. It's not about pretending or reacting. It's about shifting your consciousness to align with your desired reality. If you're already living your ideal life, how would you feel? What would your thoughts be like? How would you carry yourself? How would you interact with others? These are not idle questions. They are the key to transforming your life. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are essentially telling your subconscious mind that this is your new reality. And your subconscious mind, which knows no difference between what's vividly reimagined and what's real, begins to work tirelessly to bring this assumption into physical manifestation. This is where many people stumble. They try to change their outer world without first changing their inner world. They struggle and strive, pushing against circumstances, never realizing that those very circumstances are just reflections of their own assumptions. The art of assumption requires a complete reversal of this approach. Instead of trying to change things out there, you change your assumption in here. You live from the end, feeling and experiencing your desired state as if it were already a reality. This might seem challenging at first. After all, your senses are bombarding you with evidence of your current reality. But remember, your senses only show you the effects of past assumptions. They cannot show you what's possible. Only your imagination can do that. Your imagination is the gateway to infinite possibilities. When you use your imagination to assume a new state, you are literally shaping your reality from the inside out. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, one that is aligned with your desire. But how exactly do you do this? How do you assume a state that seems so different from your current experience? The key lies in your ability to control your attention. Your attention is like a spotlight. Whatever it focuses on expands in your experience. Most people let their attention be guided by their current circumstances. They focus on what is rather than what could be. But to apply the law of assumption effectively, you must learn to direct your attention deliberately. Start by clearly defining your desire. What is it that you truly want? Not just the surface level manifestation, but the essence of it. If you want wealth, for example, what is it about wealth that you really desire? Is it freedom? Security? The ability to help others? Get clear on the feeling state that your desire represents. Once you've identified this feeling state, your task is to assume it fully. This means feeling the feelings of already having what you desire. If your desire is for a loving relationship, feel the love, the connection, the joy of being with your perfect partner. If your desire is for a successful career, feel the satisfaction, the confidence, the fulfillment of being at the top of your field. This assumption must be total. It's not enough to simply think about it intellectually. You must feel it with every fiber of your being. Your entire consciousness must be saturated with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. One powerful technique for achieving this state is called reverse memory. Instead of remembering the past, you create memories of your desired future. Imagine scenes that imply your desires already fulfilled, and you replay these scenes in your mind as if they were memories. For instance, if your desire is for a successful business, you might imagine a scene where you're celebrating a major business milestone with your team. See the details clearly. Hear the conversation. Feel the emotions of pride and accomplishment. Make the scene as vivid and real as any actual memory. As you practice this technique, you'll find that these imagined scenes begin to feel more and more real. They start to carry the same weight and conviction as your memories of actual events. This is a sign that your assumption is taking root in your subconscious mind. Another powerful tool is the use of affirmations, but not in the way they're commonly used. Most people use affirmations as a form of positive self-talk, repeating phrases they hope will come true. But from the perspective of the law of assumption, this approach is fundamentally flawed. Instead, your affirmations should be statements of fact, declarations of what is already true. Instead of saying, I will be successful, say, I am successful. Instead of, I want to be healthy, say, I am healthy. These statements should be made with the full conviction that they are already true, not in your outer world, but in your consciousness. Remember, your consciousness is the only reality. When you make these statements with conviction, you are not describing what you want to be true. You are describing what is true on the level of consciousness And what is true in consciousness must inevitably manifest in experience. As you practice living from the end, you'll likely encounter resistance. Your old beliefs, your habitual thoughts and feelings will try to reassert themselves. This is normal. It's simply the momentum of your past assumptions. The key is to persist. Every time you catch yourself slipping back into old patterns of thought and feeling, gently but firmly redirect your attention to your new assumption. Remember, you're not trying to change anything external. You are simply choosing to occupy a different state of consciousness. This persistence is crucial. The outer world may not change immediately. In fact, at first you might see evidence that seems to contradict your new assumption. This is where many people give up, thinking that the law isn't working. But this apparent contradiction is actually a good sign. It means that your old reality is starting to crumble, making way for your new assumption to manifest. Then you plant a seed. At first, you see no evidence of growth. In fact, the ground might look exactly the same as it did before you planted the seed. But beneath the surface, changes are happening. The seed is germinating. Roots are forming. It's only a matter of time before you see the first shoots break through the soil. Your assumption works in the same way. When you first adopt a new assumption, you might not see immediate changes in your outer world. But beneath the surface, in the depths of your subconscious mind, powerful forces are at work. Your new assumption is taking root, rearranging the patterns of your life to align with your desire. Your job during this period is to tend to your assumption like a gardener tends to a seed. Water it with your attention. Nourish it with your faith. Protect it from the weeds of doubt and negative thinking. Trust in the law, knowing that what you have planted in consciousness must inevitably bear fruit in its. As you persist in your new assumption, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts in your outer world. These might start small, a chance encounter, an unexpected opportunity, a shift in how people respond to you. These are the first shoots of your new reality, breaking through the soil of your old assumptions. Acknowledge these signs, be grateful for them, but don't cling to them. Keep your focus on the end, on the full manifestation of your desire. Remember, you're not working towards your desire. In consciousness, you already have it. You're simply allowing it to unfold in your experience. This process of becoming your ideal self through the law of assumption is not about changing who you are. It's about revealing who you truly are. It's about stepping into the fullness of your being, expressing the infinite potential that has always existed within you. As you continue to practice living from the end, you'll find that it becomes more and more natural. What once felt like an effort of imagination begins to feel like your normal state of being. This is a sign that your new assumptions is becoming firmly established in your subconscious mind. At this point, you've reached a crucial milestone in your journey of transformation. You've shifted from trying to become your ideal self to being your ideal self. The gap between who you are and who you want to be has disappeared. Not because you've changed anything external, but because you've changed everything internal. This internal change is the key to lasting transformation. When you change externally without changing internally, the change is often temporary. You might achieve your goal, but you'll struggle to maintain it because your inner state hasn't aligned with your outer achievement. But when you change internally first, then you assume the state already being your ideal self. Your outer world has no choice but to conform to this new inner reality. The change is lasting because it's rooted in the deepest levels of your being. As we move forward, we'll explore specific techniques and practices to help you maintain this new state of being. We'll look at ways to integrate your new assumption to every aspect of your life, ensuring that your transformation is complete and permanent. But for now, I want you to reflect on this question. If you were already living as your ideal self, what would be different about your thoughts, feelings, and actions right now, in this very moment? Now that we've explored the power of assumption and the art of living from the end, it's time to turn our attention to the practical aspects of manifesting your best life. The principles we've discussed are profound, but their true power lies in their application. How do we take these lofty concepts and weave them into the fabric of our daily lives? The key lies in practice and persistence. Just as a musician must practice daily To master their instrument, or an athlete must train consistently to excel in their sport, so too must we practice the art of conscious creation to manifest our best life. Think of your consciousness as of a muscle. Like any muscle, it grows stronger with consistent use. Each time you deliberately assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you are strengthening your ability to shape your reality. But this strength doesn't come overnight. It's built through daily, devoted practice. So, what does this practice look like? It begins the moment you wake up. Those first few minutes of consciousness as you transition from sleep to wakefulness are incredibly potent. Your subconscious mind is still open and receptive, making it the perfect time to plant the seeds of your desired reality. As you open your eyes each morning, before you engage with the outside world, take a moment to feel the reality of your wish fulfilled. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the satisfaction of already being, doing, or having what you desire. Let this feeling permeate your entire being. This morning practice sets the tone for your entire day. It's like tuning an instrument before a performance. You're tuning your consciousness to the frequency of your desired reality. But your practice doesn't end there. Throughout your day, you encounter countless opportunities to reinforce your new assumption. Every interaction, every task, every moment is a chance to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. For instance, if your desire is for greater success in your career, approach each task as if you're already the successful person you aspire to be. How would that version of you handle this meeting? How would they approach this challenge? How would they interact with their colleagues? This constant reinforcement is crucial. Remember, you're not trying to change your reality through force of will. You're allowing a new reality to unfold by consistently occupying a new state of consciousness. One powerful technique to maintain this state throughout your day is the use of I remember when statements. Instead of focusing on your current circumstances, create memories of your desired future as if it's already happened. For example, if your desire is for financial abundance, you might say to yourself, I remember when I used to worry about money. Now, it flows to me ethically and in abundance. Or if your desire for improved health, you might think, I remember when I used to feel tired and sluggish. Now I wake up each day feeling vibrant and full of energy. These I remember when statements serve a dual purpose. They reinforce your new assumption by treating it as an already accomplished fact, and they create a sense of distance from your old reality, making it easier to let go of limiting beliefs and habits. Another crucial aspect of your daily practice is to mind your mental diet. Just as you're careful about what you put into your body, be mindful of what you allow into your mind. The thoughts you entertain, the conversations you engage in, the media you consume, all of these influence your state of consciousness. Seek out information and experiences that align with your desired reality. Surround yourself with people who support and inspire you. Engage in activities that make you feel the way you want to feel in your ideal life. This doesn't mean you should ignore challenges or pretend that everything is perfect. Rather, it means approaching everything from the perspective of your ideal self. How would the version of you who is already living your best life handle this situation? As you go through your day, pay attention to your inner dialogue. The conversations you have with yourself are perhaps the most important of all. Are you speaking to yourself as someone who is already living their best life, or are you reinforcing old, limiting beliefs? When you catch yourself slipping into negative self-talk or doubt, don't judge or criticize yourself. Simply redirect your thoughts back to your desired state. Remember, you're not trying to force yourself to think positively. You're choosing to occupy a state of consciousness where these positive thoughts. This brings us to an important point, the role of emotion in manifesting your best life. Your emotions are not just reactions to your circumstances. They are powerful creative forces. The emotion you consistently feel, the emotion you will consistently experience in your outer world. This is why it's crucial to not just think about your desire, but to feel it. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of already having what you want. Let these emotions infuse every cell of your body. The more real you can make these feelings, the more powerful your manifestation will be. One effective way to amplify these emotions is through visualization. Set aside time each day to vividly imagine scenes that imply your desire is already fulfilled. Use all your senses. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the scents associated with your desire. As you practice this visualization, pay particular attention to the feeling it generates. This feeling is the essence of your desire. It's what you're really after. Hold on to this feeling. Let it expand within you and carry it with you throughout your day. Now, as you consistently practice living from the end and maintaining your desired state, you will inevitably face challenges. There will be times when your outer world seems to contradict your inner assumption. This is where persistence becomes crucial. Remember, your current circumstances are the result of past assumptions. They have no power to dictate your future unless you give them that power. When faced with seeming contradictions, double down on your assumption. Remind yourself that your consciousness is the only reality, and what you're experiencing externally is simply the shadow of past thoughts and beliefs. This persistence in the face of contrary evidence is what separates those who successfully manifest their desires from those who don't. It's easy to maintain your assumption when everything is going smoothly. The real test comes when things appear to be going wrong. In these moments, treat the challenging circumstances as opportunities to strengthen your faith in the law. Instead of reacting with doubt or fear, respond with the calm assurance of someone who knows that their desire is already a done deal in conscience. Another powerful practice to reinforce your assumption is the use of affirmations, but not in the way they're commonly used. Most people use affirmations as a form of positive self-talk, repeating phrases they hope will come true. But from the perspective of conscious creation, this approach is fundamentally flawed. Instead, your affirmations should be statements of fact, declarations of what is already true in consciousness. Don't say, "I will be successful." Say, "I am successful." Don't say, "I wanted to be healthy." Say, "I'm healthy." These statements should be made with the full conviction that they are already true, not in your outer world, but in your consciousness. As you make these declarations, feel the truth of them. Let the feeling of these statements being true permeate your entire being. This feeling is the bridge between your inner assumption and its outer manifestation. Now, as you persist in your practice, you begin to notice changes in your outer world. These might start small, a shift in how people respond to you, unexpected opportunities arising, coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. These are signs that your new assumption is beginning to manifest. Acknowledge these signs. Be grateful for them, but don't cling to them. Keep your focus on the end, on the complete fulfillment of your desire. Remember, you're not working toward your desire. In consciousness, you already have it. You're simply allowing it to unfold in your experience. As your practice deepens, you'll find that living from the end becomes more and more natural. What once felt like an effort of imagination begins to feel like your normal state of being. This is a sign that your new assumption is becoming firmly established in your subconscious mind. At this point, you reach the crucial milestone in your journey of transformation. You've shifted from trying to become your ideal self to being your ideal self. The gap between who you are and who you want to be has disappeared, not because you've changed anything external, but because you've changed everything internal. This internal change is the key to lasting transformation. When you change externally without changing internally, the change is often temporary. You might achieve your goal, but you'll struggle to maintain it because your inner state hasn't aligned with your outer achievement. But when you change internally first, then you assume the state of already being your ideal self. Your outer world has no choice but to conform to this new inner reality. The change is lasting because it's rooted in the deepest levels of your being. As you continue on this path, remember that manifesting your best life is not a destination, but a journey. It's a constant process of expansion, of pushing the boundaries of what you believe is possible for yourself. As you achieve one desire, you'll find new desires rising. This is natural and beautiful. It's the universe's way of calling you to ever greater expressions of yourself. The practices we've discussed, morning and evening routines. I remember when statements, visualization, affirmations, maintaining your mental diet. These are not tasks to be completed and then set aside. They are tools for ongoing growth and expansion. They are the means by which you continually refine and elevate your state of consciousness. I want to remind you of a fundamental truth. You are already whole, complete, and perfect. Your journey of manifesting your best life is not about becoming something you're not. It's about revealing the greatness that has always existed within you. It's about aligning your outer world with the truth of your inner being. As you move forward, carry this truth with you. Let it inform every thought, every feeling, every action. Know that the life you dream of is not some distant possibility. It is a present reality waiting for you to tap into it. Your task is not to make it happen, but to allow it to unfold by consistently being the person who already has it. Remember, the power to shape your reality lies within you. It always has, and it always will. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Your best life is not just a possibility. In consciousness, it's already yours. Now go forth and live it. Have you ever noticed how people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others struggle to make ends meet? The contrast is stark, yet the truth behind this phenomenon is far more profound than meets the eye. It's not about luck, inheritance, or even hard work. The real secret lies in understanding the nature of reality itself. Sarah constantly worries about money, always feeling like there's never enough. She clips coupons, hesitates to spend on necessities, and lives in a perpetual state of financial anxiety. John, on the other hand, moves through life with ease. He doesn't obsess over price tags, enjoys life's pleasures, and somehow always has enough to cover his expenses and then some. What sets them apart? It's not their bank accounts or their jobs. It's their mindset, their fundamental belief about the nature of wealth and abundance. You see, we live in a world of infinite abundance. Every resource, every opportunity, every possibility exists in limitless supply. Yet most of us have been conditioned to see scarcity. We've been taught that there's only so much to go around, that we must compete for limited resources, that wealth is hard to come by and even harder. This illusion of lack is just that, an illusion. There's a veil pulled over our eyes, obscuring the true nature of our reality. But once you understand this truth, once you truly grasp the concept of abundance, your entire world shifts. Think about it. Nature itself is a testament to abundance. A single apple seed can grow into a tree that produces thousands of apples, each containing seeds for thousands more trees. The universe expands infinitely. Ideas and creativity flow endlessly. There's no true scarcity in our world, only the scarcity we create in our mind. But how do we break free from this illusion? How do we step into the reality of abundance? It starts with a fundamental shift in consciousness. You must begin to see yourself not as a mere participant of a world, struggling to get your share, but as the creator of your reality. Your consciousness, your awareness, is the very substance from which your world is formed. This isn't some new age concept or wishful thinking. It's a principle that's been understood by great minds throughout history. The world you experience is a reflection of your inner state, your beliefs, your assumptions, your expectations. These are the building blocks of your reality. When you believe in lack, when you assume scarcity, that's exactly what you'll experience. Your mind will filter your experiences, focusing on every instance of not enough, reinforcing your belief in a world of limitation. But when you shift your consciousness to abundance, when you truly believe and expect wealth and prosperity, your experience of the world transforms. Opportunities that were always there suddenly become visible. Resources you never noticed appear at your fingertips. The universe itself seems to conspire to fulfill your expectations of abundance. This isn't about denying the current state of your bank account or pretending that bills don't exist. It's about understanding that your external reality is a reflection of your internal state. By changing your inner world, your beliefs, assumptions, and expectations. Consider the power of assumption. When you assume wealth, when you live from a state of abundance, you naturally make different choices. You carry yourself differently. You interact with others differently. You approach opportunities differently. And these subtle shifts create ripples of transformation. But it's not enough to simply think positive thoughts or repeat affirmations. This transformation requires a complete overhaul of your consciousness. You must become, in your mind and heart, the wealthy person you desire to be. This is where the power of imagination comes into play. Your imagination is not mere fantasy. It's the creative force of the universe itself, expressing through you. When you vividly imagine wealth and abundance, when you feel the emotions associated with prosperity, you're not daydreaming. You're engaging in the most powerful creative act possible. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself living in complete financial freedom. Feel the peace, the joy, the sense of security and possibility. Experience the emotions of having more than enough, of being able to give generously, of living life on your own terms. It is not an exercise in wishful thinking. It's a deliberate act of creation. As you engage in this practice regularly, you will notice a shift. Your fears about money will begin to dissolve. Your decisions will align more with abundance than scarcity. You'll find yourself naturally gravitating towards opportunities for growth and prosperity. But here's persist. The old patterns of lack and limitation will try to reassert themselves. Doubts will creep in. The external world may not change overnight. This is where faith comes in, not blind faith, but faith based on an understanding the true nature of reality. Remember, the physical world is a reflection of consciousness. It may take time for your new state of consciousness to fully manifest in your external reality. But if you persist, if you maintain that state of wealth consciousness, regardless of external circumstances, your world will inevitably transform. This is the true meaning of acting instead. It's not about pretending or deceiving others. It's about aligning your entire being, your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to experience. It's about living from the end, embodying the state of wealth and abundance now, knowing that the external must conform to the internal. As you begin to live from this new state of consciousness, you'll notice subtle shifts. Perhaps you'll feel more confident in business meetings. Maybe you'll find yourself drawn to books or conversations about wealth creation. You might start seeing opportunities where before you saw only obstacles. These are signs that your inner transformation is beginning to manifest externally. Embrace them. Celebrate them. Let them reinforce your faith in the power of your consciousness to shape your reality. But what about those moments when doubt creeps in? When the bank account seems low or unexpected expenses arise? This is where the real work begins. It's easy to feel abundant when everything is going well. The true test is maintaining that state of wealth consciousness even when external circumstances seem to contradict it. Mind yourself of the truth. Abundance is your natural state. Wealth is your birthright. The external world may take time to catch up with your new inner reality, but it must and will conform if you hold steady to your new state of being. This is not about denying or ignoring your current circumstances. It's about seeing them for what they truly are, temporary conditions that have no power over your true, abundant nature. You acknowledge them, but you don't give them power. Instead, you reaffirm your commitment to living from a state of wealth and abundance. As you continue on this journey, you'll find that your entire relationship with money transforms. No longer will it be a source of stress or anxiety. Instead, it becomes a natural, joyful expression of the abundance that you are. You find yourself spending wisely but generously, investing confidently and giving. This shift in consciousness doesn't just affect your financial life. It spills over into every area of your existence. Relationships improve as you no longer come from a place of need or lack. Health enhances as you release the stress and anxiety associated with financial worry. Creativity flourishes as you free yourself from the constraints of scarcity thinking. You begin to see the world through new eyes. Where once you saw limitation, you now see infinite possibility. Where you once felt powerless, you now recognize your innate power as a conscious creator. The illusion of lack dissolves, revealing the breathtaking reality of abundance that has always been there, waiting for you to recognize. This is the transformative power of acting as if you are wealthy. It's not about pretending or faking it. It's about aligning yourself with the truth of who you really are, a being of infinite potential living in a universe of boundless abundance. As you embrace this truth, as you live from this state of wealth consciousness, you're watched in awe as your life transforms, reflecting the abundance that has always been your true nature. Remember, this journey of transformation is not about reaching a destination. It's about embracing a new way of being. Every day you have the opportunity to choose abundance over scarcity, wealth over lack. Every moment is a chance to reaffirm your true prosperous nature. As you continue to act from this place of abundance, you'll find that the universe responds in kind. Opportunities will arise, resources will appear, and your external reality will increasingly reflect your inner state of wealth. But the greatest reward is not the material abundance. It's the freedom, the joy, the peace that comes from aligning with your true abundant nature. So, are you ready to shed the illusion of lack and step into the reality of abundance? Are you prepared to act as if you are wealthy and watch your life change? The choice is yours. The power is within you to activate it. And a world of infinite abundance awaits your discovery. Now that we've unveiled the illusion of lack and recognized the abundant nature of our reality, it's time to harness the most powerful tools at our disposal: imagination and assumption. These are not mere mental exercises or flights of fancy. They are the very mechanisms through which we shape our reality and manifest our desires. What is the difference between the wealthy individual and the one struggling to make ends meet? Is it merely the numbers in their bank account? Or is it something far more fundamental, their self-image, their bare beliefs about what's possible, their expectations of life? The truth is, long before wealth manifests in the physical world, it exists as a state of consciousness. The wealthy person sees themselves as wealthy, expects abundance, and naturally aligns their actions with this self-image. This is the power of imagination and assumption at work. But how exactly does this process unfold? How can we harness these innate abilities to transform our financial reality? It begins with understanding the nature of imagination. Your imagination is not separate from reality. It is the very substance from which reality is formed. When you vividly imagine a scenario, your brain and body respond as if it were actually happening. This is why visualization techniques are so powerful in sports medicine, and yes, in wealth creation. When you imagine yourself as wealthy, and you mentally rehearse the life of abundance you desire, you're not engaging in wishful thinking. You're literally rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways that align with your desired reality. You're training your subconscious mind to recognize and seize opportunities for wealth creation that may have always been there, but were previously invisible to you. But imagination alone is not enough. It must be coupled with assumption, the firm belief that what you've imagined is not just possible but inevitable. This is where many people falter. They can picture wealth and abundance, but deep down, they don't truly believe it's possible for them. Assumption is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. When you assume a state of wealth, when you live, think, and act as if you are already wealthy, you set in motion a series of events that must inevitably lead to the manifestation of that state. This is not about pretending or deceiving others. It's about aligning your entire being with the reality you wish to experience. It's about embodying the state of wealth so completely that it becomes your natural way of being. So how do we put this into practice? How do we use imagination and assumption to transform our financial reality? Start by creating a vivid mental image of your ideal wealthy self. See yourself living in the home you desire, driving the car you want, enjoying the lifestyle you aspire to. But don't stop at the material possessions. Imagine how you feel in this state of abundance. Experience the peace, the confidence, the joy that comes with financial freedom. As you engage in this practice, pay attention to the details. What clothes are you wearing? How do you carry yourself? How do you interact with others? The more detailed and vivid you're imagining, the more powerful its impact on your subconscious mind. Now here's the crucial step. As you imagine this scenario, you must assume it as your current reality. Feel the gratitude, the excitement, the sense of accomplishment as if you've already achieved this state of wealth. This is not about projecting into the future. It's about embodying that state of wealth right now. You might be thinking, but how can I assume wealth when my current circumstances show the opposite? This is where faith comes in, not blind faith, but faith based on understanding the creative power of your consciousness. Remember, your external world is a reflection of your inner state. By assuming the state of wealth, now regardless of current circumstances, you're setting in motion the forces that will bring that state into physical manifestation. This requires a shift in focus. Instead of obsessing over your current bank balance or financial worries, direct your attention to the abundance that surrounds you. Appreciate the wealth you already have, the air you breathe, the sun that shines, the infinite potential within you. As you cultivate this awareness of abundance, you find it easier to assume the state of wealth. Another powerful technique is to live from the end. This means structuring your day as if you were already living your ideal wealthy life. How would you start your morning? How would you approach your work? How would you interact with others? By aligning your actions with your assumed state of wealth, you reinforce that state in your subconscious mind. But what about when doubts creep in? When the bills pile up or unexpected expenses arise? This is where the real work begins. It's easy to feel wealthy when everything is going well. The true test is maintaining that state of wealth consciousness even when external circumstances seem to contradict it. You remind yourself, your imagination is more real than the world of appearances. Your assumed state of wealth is more powerful than temporary financial challenges. Instead of reacting with fear or anxiety, reaffirm your commitment to your assumed state of wealth. Use your imagination to see beyond the current circumstances to the abundance. That is your true nature. As you persist in this practice, you begin to notice subtle shifts. Perhaps you'll feel more confident in financial decisions. Maybe you'll find yourself drawn to books or conversations about wealth creation. You might start seeing opportunities where before you saw only obstacles. These are signs that your inner transformation is beginning to manifest externally. Embrace them. Celebrate them. Let them reinforce your faith in the power of your imagination and assumption. But don't stop there. As you begin to experience these changes, amplify them through your imagination. See them as confirmation of your wealthy state. Assume that they are just the beginning of the abundance that is flowing into your life. Remember, the goal is not just to accumulate money or possessions. It's to embody the state of wealth so completely that it becomes your natural way of being. This state of wealth consciousness will not only transform your financial reality, but will enhance every aspect of your life. You find that relationships improve as you no longer come from a place of need or lack. Your health may enhance as you release the stress and anxiety associated with financial worry. Your creativity may flourish as you free yourself from the constraints of scarcity thinking. As you continue to your imagination and assumption in this way, you'll discover that you're not just creating wealth, you're uncovering the abundant nature that has always been your true self. You're aligning with the infinite potential that exists within you and all around you. This journey of transformation through imagination and assumption is not always easy. There will be times when the old patterns of thinking try to reassert themselves. There will be moments when the external world seems to contradict your assumed state of wealth. In these moments, stand firm in your practice. Return to your imagination. Reinforce your assumption of wealth. Remember that your consciousness is the only true reality, and that the physical world must eventually conform to your dominant mental state. As you persist, you'll find that maintaining the state of wealth consciousness becomes easier and more natural. It will no longer feel like an effort or a practice. It will simply be who you are. And as this shift occurs, you will watch in amazement as your external reality transforms to match your inner state. Opportunities for wealth creation will seem to appear out of nowhere. Resources you need will show up at just the right time. People who can help you on your journey will enter your life. And through it all, you maintain a sense of peace, confidence, and joy that comes from knowing you are the creator of your reality. This is the true power of imagination and assumption. It's not about daydreaming or wishful thinking. It's about consciously directing the creative force of the universe that expresses through you. It's about aligning your entire being with the wealth and abundance that is your birthright. So, as you move forward on this journey, commit to making full use of your imagination. Vividly picture your ideal wealthy self. Feel the emotions associated with financial freedom. Assume the state of wealth as your current reality, regardless of external circumstances. And remember, this is not a one-time event. It's a way of life. Every day you have the opportunity to reinforce your state of wealth consciousness through your imagination and assumption. Every moment is a chance to align more fully with the abundance that is your true nature. As you do this, you'll find that acting as if you are wealthy becomes effortless. You will no longer feel like an act because you have fully embodied that state of wealth. And from this place of alignment, you watch in awe as your life transforms, reflecting the abundance that has always been within you. The power to create the wealth you desire lies within you. It always has. Through your imagination and assumption, you hold the key to unlocking a life of true abundance. The choice is yours. The power is yours. And a world of infinite possibility awaits your command. So, are you ready to fully harness the power of your imagination? Are you prepared to assume the state of wealth and watch as your reality transforms? The time is now. The power is within you. And the life of abundance you've always dreamed of is waiting for you. As we've explored the power of imagination and assumption in creating wealth, we now come to the most crucial element of this transformative process: persistent faith. This is where the rubber meets the road, where your commitment to your vision of wealth is truly tested. What does it mean to have faith in the context of manifesting wealth? It's not about blindly believing in a future windfall or passively waiting for abundance to fall into your lap. No, the faith we're talking about is an unwavering conviction in the reality of your imagined state of wealth, a steadfast belief in the creative power of your consciousness. This faith is the bridge between our inner world of imagination and the outer world of physical manifestation. It's the fuel that keeps your vision alive when circumstances seem to contradict it. It's the anchor that holds you steady in your assumed state of wealth, regardless of temporary financial fluctuations. Maintaining this faith isn't always easy. There'll be moments of doubt, times when your bank account seems to mock your vision of abundance, days when the weight of bills and financial responsibilities threatens to crush your spirits. These are the moments that separate those who truly transform their financial reality from those who remain trapped in cycles of lack and limitation. So how do you cultivate and maintain this persistent faith? It starts with understanding that faith is not something you either have or don't have. It's a muscle that you strengthen through consistent practice. Every time you choose to hold fast to your vision of wealth in the face of contradictory circumstances, you're building that faith muscle. One powerful practice is to create a daily ritual of reaffirming your wealth consciousness. This could be a morning meditation where you fully immerse yourself in the feeling of abundance. Or it might be an evening review where you identify all the ways abundance manifested in your day, no matter how small. The key is consistency, doing this every single day, regardless of how you feel or what's happening in your external world. Another crucial aspect of maintaining faith is managing your mental diet. Just as you're careful about what you put into your physical body, you must be vigilant about what you feed your mind. Limit exposure to negative news about the economy or fearful conversations about money. Instead, surround yourself with stories of abundance, with people who believe in the possibility of wealth, with ideas that expand your conception of what's possible. But what about when doubts creep in? Because they will. It's natural for the human mind to question, to seek evidence, to want proof. The key is not to resist these doubts, but to meet them with understanding, and then gently redirect your focus back to your vision of wealth. That arises my just a thought. It has no power unless I give it power. I choose instead to give power to my vision of abundance. Then immediately immerse yourself in the feeling of wealth and abundance. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the freedom as if it's already your reality. This is where the power of your imagination becomes crucial. Use it to create a vivid inner experience of wealth that's more real, more tangible to you than any temporary external circumstance. The more real you can make this inner experience, the easier it becomes to maintain faith in its eventual physical manifestation. Remember, the external world is always catching up to your inner reality. Your current financial circumstances are the result of past thoughts and beliefs. By maintaining faith in your new state of wealth consciousness, you are setting in motion the forces that will bring that state into physical manifestation. But faith without action is empty. This doesn't mean struggling or striving from a place of lack. Instead, it means allowing inspired action to flow naturally from your state of wealth consciousness. When you truly feel wealthy, you'll find yourself naturally drawn to opportunities for growth and abundance. You'll make decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear. You'll invest in yourself and your future without hesitation. As you take these inspired actions, see them as confirmation of your wealthy state. Appreciate them as evidence of your transformation rather than prerequisites for it. This subtle shift in perspective can make all the difference in maintaining your faith. It's also important to cultivate patience. The physical world, it may take time to fully reflect your new inner state. This is where many people falter, giving up just before their vision starts to materialize. But remember, every moment you maintain your faith in your wealthy state is bringing you closer to its physical manifestation. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust in the natural process, providing water and sunlight consistently. In the same way, you must trust in the process of manifestation, consistently providing the warmth of your imagination and the sunlight of your faith. As you persist in this practice, you begin to notice signs of your manifesting wealth. Perhaps unexpected opportunities arise. Maybe you receive a surprise refund or bonus. Or you might simply feel a growing sense of peace and confidence about money. Celebrate these signs, no matter how small. See them as confirmation that your faith is working, that your new reality is taking shape. But don't stop there. Use these manifestations to fuel your faith even further. Let them strengthen your conviction in the power of your consciousness to create your reality. Let them inspire you to dream even bigger, to expand your vision of what's possible. As your faith grows stronger, you will find that maintaining your state of wealth consciousness becomes easier and more natural. What once felt like an effort becomes your default state. You no longer have to constantly remind yourself to think abundantly. You will simply be who you are. This is when true transformation occurs. You're no longer acting as if you're wealthy. You are wealthy in the deepest sense of the word. Your wealth is no longer dependent on external circumstances. It's an inner state of abundance that flows out into every aspect of your life. From this place of unshakable faith, you become a powerful force for abundance in the world. Your very presence inspires others to believe in the possibility of wealth. Your actions create ripples of prosperity that extend far beyond your personal finances. But perhaps the greatest reward of this persistent faith is the profound sense of peace it brings. When you truly know, at the core of your being, that abundance is your natural state, that you have the power to create the wealth you desire. You're free to enjoy life fully, to give generously, to pursue your passions without the constant stress of money concerns. This is the true promise of wealth consciousness, not just material abundance, but a deep, abiding sense of enoughness, and knowing that you are the source of your abundance, and that source is infinite and eternal. So as you move forward on this journey of manifesting wealth, commit to cultivating this persistent faith. Choose each and every day to stand firm in your vision of abundance, regardless of external circumstances. Use your imagination to make your inner experience of wealth more real than any temporary financial challenge. Take inspired action from a place of confidence and abundance. And above all, trust in the process. Trust in the creative power of your consciousness. Trust that, as you maintain your faith, as you persist in your assumed state of wealth, your external reality must and will conform to your inner world. Remember, this journey of transformation is not about reaching a destination. It's about embracing a new way of being. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen your faith, to deepen your wealth consciousness, to align more fully with the abundance that is your true nature. The power to create the wealth you desire has always been within you. Through your persistent faith, you're not just manifesting money or possessions, you're manifesting the truth of who you be. A being of infinite abundance, living in a universe of limitless possibility. So, are you ready to stand firm in your faith? Are you prepared to persist in your vision of wealth, no matter what? The choice is yours. The power is within you. And a world of true abundance awaits your unwavering belief. As we conclude this exploration of acting as if you are wealthy, remember that the transformation you seek is already within you. You have the imagination to create a vivid vision of wealth. You have the power to assume that state as your current reality. And you have a capacity for persistent faith that will bring that vision into manifestation. The journey may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. For in choosing to act as if you are wealthy, in choosing to align with the abundance that is your true nature, you're not just changing your financial reality. You're stepping into the fullness of who you truly are. You're claiming the life of joy, freedom and abundance that has always been your birthright. So go forth with confidence. Live from that state of all consciousness. Maintain your faith even when circumstances seem to contradict it. And watch in awe as your life transforms, reflecting the abundance that has always been within you. The power is yours. The time is now. Your wealthy self awaits,